Hello, friends. It's Stamp Ventures with Shauna, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. Welcome to my Tuesday tutorial on Tuesday, August 16th at around 9:02 p.m. How's everybody doing today? How's your summer been going? It's so hard to believe that we're getting to the countdown to the end of summer. It's just been going way too fast for me. Oh boy, yeah. But yeah, I've got to remember that there's still like what, 2 weeks of August left. So I have to look at it, in that whole, the glass is half full and not half empty. So yeah, welcome, welcome. Say hello if you're watching. If you're from outside of Moose Jaw, let us know where you're watching from. And I'm going to be getting started in just a short bit, showing you some cards that I'm going to try to come up with using the designs and the patterns that I created with last week's wax paper resist. So this is part 2 where I've created that resist pattern, and now I'm going to turn it into some cards. And I think I've got about 3 cards to show you tonight. They're pretty much all cut out. I just will kind of glue them together and tell you the measurements, so that if you've been having fun making these wax paper resist backgrounds, then you'll have an idea of what you can do with them. And if you didn't get a chance to see the part 1 video from last week, check it out. It's really fun to try this technique. It works really well. Yeah, it's just another way to use your embossing folders. Okay, so I'm just catching the comments and whatnot, moving across the screen. And hi, Sue. Yeah, way too fast. And oh, you're just back from the lake. Okay, I hope it was great. Remind me again which lake that you were at. Yeah, we've had just superior lake weather. It's been so beautiful, almost too hot on some days, but we're going to take it because we know winter will be coming. Found this one. I usually find all these little funnies on Facebook, so maybe you've seen this too. But yeah, there he is, the guy from the math book who buys the 50 bananas for no reason, or the 20 watermelons, or whatever they are. He's a real person, I guess. I don't know what, maybe he works at the zoo in the monkey area. I don't It'd be interesting to find out like why he'd have all those bananas, or perhaps he's a chef and he's doing loads and loads and loads of banana cream pies. Who knows? Oh, my weather report, it's here somewhere. Today's weather. Well, I've been kind of talking about it already. Today's weather is smoking. We've had a few smoking days. One night, I think it was just this past weekend, I stepped outside and it was almost like 11:45 at night, almost midnight, and it was still 22 degrees at 11:45. That was warm and humid. So yeah, we're continuing with some really smoke and beautiful weather. So today's weather report is brought to you by the He's the Man Suite, because holy smokes, you're amazing. If you haven't seen this stamp set, it's a cute one. It works really, really well for guy cards. And even the paper is fantastic. It's got camping scenes, it's got car images, it's got barbecue images, ties and glasses. It kind of fits for almost any kind of guy out there. And then the pack of paper also has 2 12 by 12 sheets of cutouts. I shouldn't say call them cutouts, because you don't have to cut them. You just punch them out. And there's all kinds of them. These are just a few of them. And yeah, nice work, and cheers to all. And yeah, there's the holy smokes, you're the best. So be sure to check it out. It's great paper. It's awesome for cards and scrapbook pages and all kinds of things to do with guys. Oh, it's even got like these little things like stars, and yeah, no cutting required. They just punch out from those sheets that come with the pack of paper. Okay, so I have one more thing I was going to mention here. Celebration. There's 2 weeks left of Celebration. And I think last week I mentioned that there are a couple things from this booklet that are not available anymore. I thought the hippo dies were going to be gone, but last I checked, they were still available. But they were supposed to be running out very, very soon. But we do know for sure that the tree lot dies with the camper are gone, and the pool party and soft seafoam cards and envelopes are gone. But when I was stocking up on some paper and things, I ordered a couple extra packages of the tree lot dies, these cute ones with the camper and the trees. And I am technically not allowed to sell them right now because they are still considered current, even though you can't get them through Stampin' Up! Anymore. So if you are desperately looking for these and you know that they've sold out and they're going to be hard to get now, if you would like a package, please contact me, and when you place a qualifying order, I will send you the dies in the mail. So be in touch with me. As I said, I'm not allowed to sell them to you right now, but I've got 2 packages here for people who place qualifying orders. So be in touch if you are interested. And then there's a few more things that Stampin' Up! Added to the celebration choices. So be sure to check those out. Okay, so here we go. This is what I showed you from last week and was playing with. I won't go through all the steps, but I put a variety of pieces of wax paper through the embossing folders, and then I ironed them in between 2 sheets of our regular white cardstock. And then I used blending brushes to sponge color onto the sheets, and wherever there was the wax paper, the color resisted, and came up with these really cool patterns. So yeah, depending on what the embossing folder, what the design was like in the embossing folder, then that kind of changed up the pattern that came out when you started to do the resist. So I'm going to make up 3 quick cards here just to give you some ideas of ways that you could use this wax paper resist pattern. It's almost like using a patterned designer paper, really, but I just wanted to challenge myself, see what I could do with these. And like I said, if you haven't tried the technique, it is lots of fun. It's like a science experiment, and you'll want to pull out every embossing folder that you have and all different color combinations just to see what you can come up with. So first of all, I'm going to work with this piece. I think this was the Sprigs and Twigs hybrid embossing folder that I used to create this pattern, and that was soft seafoam ink and blue, balmy blue. And I should tell you right now what the dimensions of this paper, this size of the cardstock is. As you can see, I cut it down. It's almost 3 inches, so 2 7/8 by almost 4.5 inches, so 4 3/8. And then I decided I wanted to mount it on a piece of silver cardstock so that this would be 3 inches by 4.5 inches, so just the 1/8 of an inch bigger. And I was thinking, my mind doesn't always work like I want it to anymore, but I happen to be thinking with this piece, like, I want to cut out a butterfly before I glue the layers together so that I have a butterfly element for my card. So I've got this little butterfly right here that I cut out. And if you're wondering what dies that I used, I pulled out this new set of tags. Can't think of the name of them. They're in the annual catalog. Designer tags dies. And so there's the little butterfly there. And I also used this tag. And so I decided that I'd layer these 2 pieces together. And I'm just going to use my seal because it was the closest thing that I could reach. I find sometimes when you're gluing on the foil paper, it's so slippery that it just needs some extra time for the liquid glue to set, before you can start touching it and not having the paper layers move around on you. There we go. So there's our first layer. And I decided I wanted to use both of those colors in the card. So I've pulled out a card base, 8.5 by 5.5 card base of soft seafoam, and then a layer of soft seafoam in this, just a little bit smaller here for the card front. That would be 5.25 by 4 inches. And I put it through the bricks and mortar embossing folder. That's a 3D embossing folder, so that's why some of the bricks look like they're popping out further than others, because it's one of the 3-dimensional ones. I think one of these, where was my bricks and mortar 3D resist? There it is. There's with the bricks and mortar. That's what it looks like with purple with the wax resist. And I'm going to be using the bricks and mortar wax resist with a different color here for my second card just shortly, here with pumpkin and crumb cake. So yeah, looks a little bit different than when you do just the regular embossing with the cardstock. So we'll layer those together. Yeah, oh, here we go. Here's my liquid glue. There we go. And good to go. Now what else have I got here? Oh, I've got this tag. Actually, I've got 2 tags. So with this designer tags set, there's 2 pieces here. There's this one that just cuts out a plain tag with nothing in the middle. And then this second one, it cuts out a slightly smaller tag, so it layers on perfectly to the first tag, but it cuts out all this lattice work. Looks like some of those little pieces of the flowers didn't get all punched out. I wonder if oh, there it is. I do have my take your pick tool here. I can poke these out. So I thought that was really pretty and layers up nicely. But if you put the 2 tags through the machine together, then you can get a third thing from them, and that's a little tag outline, which you can use just like this, or you could glue it onto just the plain tag to create a bit of an edge. I thought that looked really nice. It just finishes it off really sharp with the edge on the tag. So I'm going to layer these 2 together, and I think I want to give it a little bit of a lift so that there's a bit of separation between the lattice work and then the background tag. So my plan was, I'm hoping that my little baby dimensionals will work to hold this in a few places and not be too obvious. So I guess there's a little bit of stitching. They're going to go on some of the little stitched areas, but that probably won't show too much. Okay, we'll go with that for now. Oh my goodness, my fingers don't want to work. So I just before the video started, I just came in from being outside. We were in the backyard, me and some neighbors and their kids. And the kids were swimming and having so much fun in the pool. It was just such a beautiful evening. And the girls were really having a lot of fun. And yeah, it was just kind of nice to chill out there on a summery evening. So I'm going to, let me see. I'm going to raise this piece up with dimensionals. I'm going to use my bigger dimensionals for this. Give a little bit more coverage with these ones. And center it somewhat. There we go. And I've got one more piece. I should get out my ruler and tell you what size this is. It's a long piece with the banner ends. And so the length is, I think it's 3 3/4, but yeah, it's 3 3/4 inch from end to end, and then 1.5 inches wide. And I just used my scissors to create the banner tails. But if you have the old triple banner punch, or if you have the tailored tag punch, you could use those as well to create the banner tails. And I'm going to put that here. Oh, and I think I'm going to use another round of dimensionals, give it more layers. There we go. So this is Balmy Blue. That was the other color that I had used in the resist here when I was brushing on the ink. Oh, those little backings of the dimensionals don't want to let go. They are loving me up tonight. Okay, so something sort of like that. Oh, I just realized there was something I wanted to do, and I glued this down before I planned to. Okay, so this is what we call surgery. I had this idea, you know, I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try it. So I want to take this foil and emboss resist piece off. And so this is what I call surgery. We're going to go in and chop the dimensional right through the foam, just like that. It's quick and painless, and don't worry, the card will still be okay. Because my idea is I want to glue this tag on right there. And originally I was like, okay, yeah, we'll glue that on and we'll tie a silver bow at the top. And I like bows. I use them lots on cards, but I'm like, well, maybe it's time to do something different than a bow. So the plan is, oh, you know what? I didn't need all that glue at the ends because the tag is going to hang over the edges of the of the banner. Okay, you guys realized that as I was doing. Oh well, it'll just dry and it will hang out there. Okay, so kind of sort of middle-ish. There we go. And now my plan is, instead of tying a silver bow at the top, I'm going to make it look sort of like this might be a pendant, and it'll be like the tag, the pendant tag is hanging from the silver chain. And I have a feeling I got a little bit high with this blue, the blue strip there, the blue banner, but oh well. Now what's handy for this is if you have Scotch tape, it works like a charm, but I don't have my Scotch tape handy, so I'm just going to grab my Terran tape, and I'm going to, I know it'll be good and strong, I'm going to stick that, whoops, one piece of the twine down. This is the, oh, what's the name of this? The Elegant something twine. It's the silver and gold that come together in the package in the annual catalog. And then I'll stick down this other piece, the other end. So yeah, kind of looks like it's hanging on a pendant. That's what I was trying to go for. Maybe I'll put one more piece right there at the top to hold that end, those ends in place. Okie doke. Now we're ready to dimensional this back down. So I'm going to use brand new dimensionals because these ones got cut right through the foam and the foam part is not sticky. So we'll go back and yes, some dimensionals were injured in the making of this video, but that's okay. It was for a good cause. So we wanted to try something different. All right. There we go. So that, yeah, wax paper resist piece is kind of centered, part of the focal point of the card. And I've got lots of layers, and now I'm going to finish it off by putting a butterfly there in the middle, sort of like it's a butterfly pendant. So that's going to go right like that. And the blue gem that I'm using here, it's from the mini catalog, the July through December mini catalog. It's from these fine sparkle adhesive backed gems, and there it is, the Balmy Blue. It was just perfect. It goes so nicely with the Balmy Blue cardstock. Love that part of the Stampin' Up! Option to color coordinate. Now, I was thinking I was going to use a mini dimensional to pop it up. I've got lots of dimensionals on this card already, and that gem is already creating a little bit of a raised part, so maybe I'll just use a little bit of my liquid glue and call it good. Now, I have not decided if I want to put any words on the front of this card. I might just leave it blank and then it could be used for any occasion, but I always leave myself open to add a little something if I want to. Oh my goodness, okay, that came out very fast. Now I'm going to have glue galore. Let's pick up a little bit of that there. Okie doke. And I could bend those wings up a little. That gives it a bit of dimension too. So there we go, right in the middle of the lattice tag. And yeah, I would definitely have room for words down there if I decide to add any. But I'm just going to stop there for now. And there's one idea for using some of the wax paper resist cardstock that I created from last week. Card number 1, done. And just before I go on to the next card, maybe I will check and see if there are any questions or comments that I've missed, because the comments like disappear just like that on my screen. They flash on and then they flash off. So I have to keep touching my iPad to see them. And so Sue says, ooh, love the tags. And Robin says, hello, hi back, and evening, Brenda, good evening. Lots of fun with the ladies swim the other day too. Yes, we have to have another swim for the ladies. Tonight was the neighborhood kids. Some of the gals in the neighborhood came out for a swim, but it was really nice to connect with some people the other day and just have a relaxing time by the water. Okay, so the next one, I said we're going to use the resist from the 3D bricks and mortar embossing folder. So I've cut this, I think it's this is 5 by 3 3/4. I think I better check that. And this is almost 5 by almost 3 3/4, so just that 1/8 of an inch smaller. And I can double check that for you just to make sure I'm telling you. Yes. Yeah, just, actually, yeah, oh, this is 5 by 3 3/4. This is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So that's where the difference is. And we're going to layer these two pieces together. So I think the sponging that I did on here with the blending brushes was pumpkin and crumb cake, if I remember correctly. But I've pulled in some soft suede because where the crumb cake gets really dark, I think it is similar to soft suede in its intensity there. And then the card base is the crumb cake. So, well, add liquid glue. And I'm not going to get in a hurry this time and start gluing things down. As you can see, just off to my right here, I've got some linen thread, and I'm going to tie that linen thread around the card right now before I start gluing anything else together. So I want it to go around these 2 layers. And I think I have just enough to tie a knot. Don't think there's going to be a bow out of this, but and I'm not sure how long this is. But hang on, I do have a ruler right here, so in case you're wondering, 12 inches, and oh, it's pretty much, it's just like 1/4 of an inch shy of 24 inches. So let's see if we can make this go around the card twice. Once, twice, yeah. Oh, there might be enough here to actually make a bow too. Okay, do I want a bow? We'll try a bow, and if I don't like it, I can always change it back to a knot. Let's see here. Okay. Saying my iPad broadcast interrupted, but I think the iPhone, which is doing the recording, is still working. All right. Now, I was struggling to tie the bow part and still keep the knot taut. So if you have that problem, here's something that I think my friend Tammy mentioned this to me. I thought it was a great idea. So I'm going to get a glue dot. Just set that down and have it ready to go. And tie the knot part first, and I'll set, let's see, set the glue dot. I'm trying to set the glue dot if it's going to let go. Yeah, there we go. Underneath the first part of the knot. There. Now I can let go and play around with it a bit more to make there's not a hurry to make the bunny ears. So just a quick tip, if you're trying to tie a bow, and the ribbon or the twine is slipping on you, those glue dots can help you in a pinch. Okay, something like that. This one particular tail could be trimmed. There we go. And sometimes afterwards I go in with my fingers and I pinch the glue dot together so the edges of the glue dot don't show up as much. They kind of curl under the knot itself, and then I play around with it, and if I want to make it spread the twine a little bit wider or whatever, can do with that. Okay, now we want to do some more decorating with this. Whew, I think I'm having a hot flash here. Where are my, there they are, my St. John's Newfoundland mints. I'm going to grab one of these because I'm like, my mouth is feeling dry, and yeah. So I have some pieces here. They're from the Splendid Day Suite. I just did my class this last week with this suite of products and really like it. There's the stamps, and I used the words sending hugs on this little crescent moon shape. It's the plant pot. And then there's all kinds of great stems that you can cut out. And they're sort of like, it's sort of like a succulent pot. And so that's what I was going to try and recreate here, is a little bit of a succulent pot. Because the colors in here kind of made me think desertish, sort of a desert sunset. So I'm going to put the pot down towards the bottom here. And my suggestion, if you're going to be planting plants in your pot, is use dimensionals at either corner, and then the stems that you're planting can kind of go in towards the middle of the pot, more or less. So something like that. And then I've got a pumpkin pie stem and a soft suede stem. And I decided, like a lot of the samples in the catalog, they show the stems overlapping, which looks really cool too. But I kind of liked this one, you know, showing the two different plants side by side in the pot, just creating a little bit of asymmetry there with the bigger one on one side and the smaller one on the other. Now, I could have put the adhesive sheets on the backs of this cardstock before I cut out these pieces, but with these plants, I kind of want them to have a little bit of life to them and not be like super duper flat. It's just a personal preference. So I'm just going to use some rolled up glue dots and bits of liquid glue here and there, and that's how I'll attach mine. Glue dots. Oh yeah, there they are right in front of me. If at first you can't find something, look right in front of you. So there's one and two. So I'm just kind of where the stems are a bit wider, I'm going in and putting those roly-poly glue dot pieces. And then I can, if I want to add a little bit more glue, I could add a little bit, just a pinch. That's not what this is, a tiny squeeze, a dot. Okay, is it going to come out? Oh, I don't want it to come out in a big swoosh. I can't think of the word I want there. There, I want just like a little dot, maybe here and here. And I'm going to call that good. So now I should be able to tuck this in, and it's okay if it overlaps a little bit at the top of the layer of the card. I think that looks kind of cool. There. And now, same thing with this one. I think I'll just use liquid glue in a few different spots on the back of this one. Not worry about the glue dots. Just here and there, some teeny tiny little spots. There we go. So then we've got our two little plants in the pot. I've noticed a few families in the neighborhood that have sort of these low round planters out in their yards or their gardens. They're very trendy right now. It's a popular thing. And now I'm going to layer this onto the crumb cake card base. And then I pulled out these brushed brass butterflies. I thought that might make a nice little embellishment. You could probably embellish with other things too. But because we're kind of using natural stems and whatnot, I thought, oh, the butterflies would work. So there's that. Yeah, it's kind of, to me, sort of desert-like in the colors. Kind of makes me think of Arizona. Might remind you maybe of something else, but that's what it makes me think of. Okay. And I don't know, how many butterflies are you allowed to put on one card? They're pretty nice, these little butterflies. There's big ones and smaller ones. So I was thinking maybe I could put, I don't know, a big one somewhere here. I don't know. And then perhaps a smaller one maybe even down here on the pot, just for something different, something like that. Okay, that's card number 2, done like dinner. So yeah, I just realized now we kind of have a butterfly theme. There was card number 1 with a butterfly and a silver butterfly, and these are with brushed brass butterflies. Okay, got one last card. I don't know about how this card is going to turn out. It was kind of like a last minute, let's see how it goes. The paper, wax paper resist pattern is this one. And it was, I think there's a tiny bit of Gorgeous Grape in there, maybe just the tiniest. And then there was the In Color, that's the purple. And the name of it is escaping me right now. It is the Fresh Freesia. And then some of that Balmy Blue in there again. And so I'm going to mount this piece onto Night of Navy. Give it a bit of a pop in the contrast. And if you're wondering what these sizes of cardstock are, here's 5 by 3 3/4. And then this one is just 1/8 of an inch under 5 and just 1/8 of an inch under 3 3/4. And I'll layer these two together. And I don't know, this last one may be kind of crazy because up at the corner of my desk, you can't see it in the camera, but I've got a whole bunch of like things that are just like cutouts that are just waiting to be used from different pieces that I've cut out and then never used them. So what I did was I grabbed a mushroom that was cut out from the Storybook Gnomes paper. And I can't really say that, okay, this is the mosaic tile embossing folder or something like that. I don't know if this embossing folder really has anything to do with mushrooms or gnomes. It probably is not really, doesn't lend itself all that well to to fantasy creatures and things, but oh, what the heck. I just thought we'll pull it in because it's sitting there and it'll be something, just a different way of using some of my gnomes that I've got cut out, because you get quite a few of them in that package of Storybook Gnomes paper. So, I don't know what's on my Balmy Blue card base, but we'll cover that up with these layers. So this Balmy Blue will pick up that light Balmy Blue that's in the sponging there. Oh, I have another 2 layers here. So this is, just so if you're trying to make this is 3.5 by 2.5. So then this would be 3 5/8 by 2 5/8. So again, just that in 1/8 of an inch bigger. Okay, I just about glued and I'm like, no, you're getting ahead of yourself. So pulled in the Flowers of Friendship. Life is better with friends like you, because I thought, well, this is kind of like somebody's little home, right? It's supposed to be a gnome home. And who would live there? A little friend would live there. So I'm going to stamp Life is better with friends like you. Now, I'm just looking around and I'm coming to the realization that yeah, I do not have my Night of Navy ink here. It's in the other room. So, but basically all that is going to happen is this would layer here with the gnome. Life is better with friends like you. I would stamp this in the Night of Navy, and I think I'd put a few sprinkles of some kinds of embellishment on there. Layer it up with some dimensionals and have a cute little card to give to a friend. So we'll just pretend that it's done, and then I'll actually finish it and take a picture of it, and I can post it on here so you can see what it looked like when it was all finished, but we'll just fake it for now. So yeah, 3 different ways that you could try using the wax paper resist layers. And so just a little bit, each one a little bit different. And as you can see, they're pretty soft and subtle. They're not like really like a loud in your face paper. Like here I've got, this is the teacup paper, and like, whoa, these teapots are like, whew, they're really, noticeable and out there. All the designs in this are really, really sharp and bright. These tend to be soft, and so yeah, they work really well for backgrounds of all kinds, and depending on what colors and patterns you use, you might be able to come up with something for a variety of cards. Now, I'm going to take one last look at the comments here. Hey, Linda, and hi, Glenda. Oh, I'm glad you're liking some of the ideas. Yeah, I think this is one of the techniques. If you had a whole bunch of the resist papers and in different colors, you could just go on and on and on with making cards with it. But there's just a little bit of something to get you started, and I hope that's given you some incentive to get creative and pull out your things that you've got at home and try some of the ideas there. And if you make something, like if you do try this technique, the wax paper resist, I really want to see how yours turns out, because every time I do it with different embossing folders, you get a different look, and you might have different color combinations. So I'd really love to see how it works out for you. So please share, show me what you make, and thanks so much for stopping by for my Tuesday tutorial this evening. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you another time. Bye for now.